And let me just go through the first 3 chapters very quickly. The first chapter is called, I think appropriately enough, While You Were Sleeping. I begin the book by noting that Christopher Columbus set sail in 1492 looking for a shorter route to India. That's where Columbus was going in 1492. The Muslim powers of that day had blocked the overland routes, and he didn't want to go around the Horn of Africa, so Columbus sailed west. He had the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. He never did find India, but he called the people he ran into Indians, and we call them that to this day. And he came home and told his wife, "Honey, I've accidentally discovered the world is round." I set off for India 512 years later. I knew just which direction I was going. I sailed east. I had Lufthansa business class and a GPS satellite that popped up in my seat, told me exactly where I was, and I came home and told my wife, "Honey, I've accidentally discovered the world is flat." And the first chapter really goes through all the encounters I had in India that led me to this conclusion. But unlike Columbus, I kept going east. I next went to Dalian, China, the capital of outsourcing for Japan. It's a major town in northeastern China where thousands upon thousands of Japanese-speaking Chinese are now running the back rooms, writing the software, and doing the business processing for major Japanese multinationals and major American multinationals formerly based in Tokyo. Let me repeat that in case you misheard me, okay? In light of the recent headlines from China, tens of thousands of Japanese-speaking Chinese are today running the back rooms of major Japanese multinationals from Dalian, where it is now a requirement in many universities that you study 2 years of Japanese in order to have access to this incredibly burgeoning market of outsourcing from Japan. And then I kept going east. I went to Colorado, and I really went east, and called JetBlue one day to make an airline reservation. I was really doing a little bit of research. And I got a rather elderly sounding woman on the phone. She was very friendly. And I asked her if JetBlue flew from Washington to Atlanta, and she said, no, they didn't. And finally I said, "Ma'am, could I ask you your name?" And she said, my name is Betty. And I said, "Betty, could I ask you where you are right now?" And she said, "Honey, I'm in my slippers up in my bedroom looking out at the most beautiful scene of Salt Lake City, Utah." Because JetBlue has created a complete home reservation system. JetBlue was founded by David Neeleman, a devout Mormon who believes that families will be held together better if one of the spouses works at home. And so he created a complete home reservation system that's manned largely by retirees and housewives in Salt Lake City, Utah. So if you call JetBlue for a reservation, you could get Betty in her bedroom. You might get Bob in the basement. You might get Sue out by the hot tub on her laptop, but that's who will make your JetBlue reservation. And then I kept moving east. I got all the way to Washington, D.C. I picked up the Washington Post one day, and they had a remarkable story about a pilot project begun by McDonald's, where if you drive up to a McDonald's now in certain locales, and you drive up to the drive-in window and you order 6 Big Macs and 6 milkshakes and 18 fries for the kids, you're not actually speaking to that McDonald's. You're speaking now to a McDonald's call center in Colorado Springs that's taking down your order and taking your picture, and then zapping your picture and your order electronically back to that McDonald's, where your picture and order are matched up when you drive up to the drive-in window. So the world is being flattened in all kinds of ways that a lot of us aren't fully aware of, and I certainly wasn't aware of when I started this project. And that sort of brings me to the kind of meta-thesis of the book, which is at the end of this first chapter. And basically,